Good morning and welcome to the Geelong Cricket Show as we're raring to go yet again on another wonderful Saturday where the flannel fools will hit the fields of greenness and really enjoy their great sport of cricket. Joining me at the table of knowledge, he walks it, he talks it, he writes it, he plays it. From Ballerine, Mr. Tim Michell. How are you, Tim?
Yeah, very good, Graham. Happy to be here with you again on another fine Saturday morning. Hopefully we can get a little bit more play than we did last week. Unfortunately, it was enough time for my B-grade boys down at Barwon Heads to get knocked off, but looking forward to hopefully getting out there for a full day today and maybe posting a few runs. It's been a pretty barren start to the year for myself, so looking forward to hopefully finding some form out there today.
And our special guests this morning joining us at the table of knowledge, and I'm certain they are very knowledgeable gentlemen. First of all, they call him Hong Kong Harry, they call him lots of things, but he is Mr. Grace to us, Harry Grace, a well-known legend of the St Joseph's Cricket Club here in Geelong. Good morning, David Brainey. How are you, mate? Welcome, Harry.
Yes, thanks very much, Graham. It's been a long time since I've been up this early of a Saturday morning. Absolute pleasure to be with you today to talk about local cricket here in Geelong, which I've been involved in on and off for many years and really appreciate the opportunity to come and have a chat.
And the big fella sitting next to him, Paul Friend. Yes, he invented a game when he was 12 years of age. And we're going to talk about that in our second segment of the Geelong Cricket Show. A very warm welcome to Paul Friend. How are you, big fella?
Yes, good, very good. Thanks, Graham. How are you?
I'm looking forward to a great day as we get into Premier Cricket. And Tim, last weekend, as you said, rain interrupted some play down there at the Geelong Cricket Ground. But congratulations to Aaron J. Finch. Yes, he made another 104 not out. He hasn't got an average so far this season. He's made 134 not out, 104 not out, and 34 not out. Still can't crack it for an average, but Geelong, because of the weather, no play on Saturday, scraped away with Melbourne University on the Sunday afternoon. A drawn fixture, and today they come up against Northcote in the first of a two-day game.
Yeah, they're actually sitting in a pretty comfortable ladder position compared to Northcote at the moment, the Cats. And while they didn't get the points last weekend, which is something that confused me a little bit, Graham, considering both sides play 44 overs, and I was down there, watched about the last 15 or 10 overs of that game, and the Cats, I thought they'd wrapped up the points because they actually won by about 7 runs in the 44 over fixture that it ended up being. But as it turned out, they needed to bowl out at Melbourne Uni last weekend to get a result out of that game, and they couldn't achieve that with a few of their spinners bowling at the end. But there were some positive signs that they'll take forward. I know Jeremy Hart, who's obviously got a 5-bag now to his name as a first bowler, got 3 wickets towards the end when the pressure was really on. He bowled some fantastic balls. Mark Carson was in form again, but the one real big positive, as you said, Rollo, is the form of Aaron Finch in fantastic touch and just keeps putting his name up to the Victorian selectors. And I'm sure as good as they've been going in the Sheffield Shield, he's almost getting close to cracking that side as well. And we've already seen him as a regular fixture in the Ford Ranger Cup side as well.
Harry, from your local cricket following, it would be great to see from your viewpoint the fact that Geelong is at last, over the last decade, playing at Premier Cricket level and being successful.
Yes, Graham, I think it's fantastic. We went through many years in the sub-district here in Geelong, and then we had a few years with North Melbourne Cricket Club, North Melbourne Geelong. But for the last decade, we've had Geelong standing alone in its own right, and we're just looking forward to the first bit of major silverware, which is hopefully not too far around the corner.
And Paul, you wouldn't mind batting on the deck down there at the Geelong Cricket Ground?
Oh, it looks good, doesn't it? I remember as a kid playing under-13s football on the old rugby oval, but that ground just looks sensational now.
It certainly is, but this weekend it's a Bill Laurie Oval for the Geelong Cricket Club up against Northcote. Northcote have won 3 games this season and all at home, so Geelong is certainly going to be up for a big tussle. Turning our attention to the world of Ballerine Peninsula cricket, and by gee, what a top-ranging number of teams. We've got 4 unbeaten tides in each of A, B, C and D grades. Colindina unbeaten in A grade, Port Arlington remain undefeated in B grade, Drysdale undefeated in C grade, and Queenscliff undefeated in D grade. Colindina taking all before them at this particular time of the season, Tim, and this weekend they come up against a very strong combination in Wellington, but Colindina too strong.
Yeah, to be a silly man to tip against Colindina at the moment. They're playing fantastically and all signs point to a return for their star paceman who's already got 20 wickets to this stage of the season, Luke Weitenheimer. But the fact that the Cobras did it so easily without their leading wicket taker last week against Ocean Grove, rolling the Grubbers for 98 in the first week of competition, with Jamie Brennan stepping up with the ball and grabbing 6 wickets, and then just passing that total. The talk last week, Graham, was that they went off, I think, needing about 10 runs, Colindina, and managed to get out there just in time to get those runs. So another really important 6 points for them, and as you say, gives them that little bit of buffer, and they just keep pushing towards what looks like it's going to be a ladder leading position for the Cobras at Christmas, because they're playing some fantastic cricket at the moment, and over the next couple of weekends of action, I'd be favouring them to knock off Wellington.
Jed Potter will lead the Jan Juck attack in 4th position as they take on Barrable in 7th. Can the Jan Juckians do it?
I think Jan Juck are set for it, but it's always going to be interesting to see how they respond. They had the bye last week, and Jed Potter actually playing for Barrable in that one, Graham. So Jed Potter has been bowling fantastically for the Bulls, though, so I'm glad you highlighted him. He's going to be one of the big keys if they are going to knock over a star-studded Jan Juck lineup. We'll be interested to see a guy that we've spoken about a couple of times on the show, whether Ian Ligo takes his place in this side. There's been a few reasons that he's been missing over the last few weeks, so they'd be doing well to get him back in the side, Jan Juck, and I think all signs point to a Sharks win in that one. Although Barrable, who knows, because they were pretty good against Newcombe and just missed out by about 25 runs from an outright victory, with rain preventing them getting the full 10 points in the game last weekend.
The Drysdale Hawks take on the Queenscliff Cooters. Who's got the better batting strength?
You'd have to say Drysdale. They managed to get 250 on the board. They had the 7 overs to bat last weekend, and then just couldn't do enough to knock over Anglesea, with rain also preventing a result in that one. But Drysdale still undefeated as well to this stage, having had a bye as well. So that's the only reason that they're 6 points behind Colindina at the moment. Queenscliff takes some form in having defeated Wellington pretty easily last week. Tony Hannafin with plenty of confidence, bowling and batting fantastically in a man-of-the-match performance against Wellington last weekend. So the Cooters take some confidence, Graham, but I can't see them knocking over a Drysdale side that looks set to be right up there towards the end of the season, now to make a statement about how well they want to go towards the business end of the season in 2009-2010. In
a word, any chance Newcombe Bulls against Bowen Heads?
Oh, I'd love to give Newcombe a chance in this. I can't really say that, Graham, because I'm a Bowen Heads boy, but as a neutral fan, I'd like to give Newcombe some chance in it, but the way they played against Barrable last weekend, you can't really think that they're going to be much of a show against Bowen Heads, a side that would have been a tight tussle had they stayed on against Port Arlington last weekend, but the Seagulls. This game's actually been switched to play at the Seagulls home, and I think they're pretty keen to make that a fortress from here on in, and it's going to start with a win against Newcombe over the next couple of weekends of action.
And the game that could balance a charge towards the final 6, Ocean Grove, the Grubbers in 10th, take on Port Arlington currently in 6th. Damien Vasilou and his boys batting very well down there at Port Arlington. Yeah,
they are playing pretty well, Port Arlington. It was interesting to see Vass in the runs last weekend, and they dropped a few of their regular openers back down, so it gave them a bit of flexibility in that lineup last weekend. They had the 2 options of actually going for the target or just holding back, and in the end they did hold back a little bit on going for the 215 that Bowen had set them Port Arlington. But Ocean Grove have been really disappointing over the last couple of weekends. Since they got 250 at home a few weekends ago, they've really disappointed with the bat. 2 scores under 100 again, and unless their batsmen get their act together, they're going to be absolutely no chance of an upset win over Port Arlington. I think the Demons over the next couple of weekends will cement their spot inside the top 6.
And as Tim has mentioned, Colindina on top of the ladder taking on Wellington, and they should be too strong as we go to a break on the Geelong Cricket Show and be back with more after this.